So today we are treated to a press conference from our 3 Arabic players in the field, 3 Moroccans. We've got Ines Laklalech here, Maha Haddioui in the middle, and Lina Belmati over at the far end. So they can gladly answer in English. Some can give Arabic a go and I think can speak a bit of Arabic, but we've also got Yasin here who can help translate. If anyone on the call who's tuned in on Teams has any questions, please just raise your hand and then we'll ask to unmute you and ask the question. So Maha, we'll start with you. Welcome back to Saudi Arabia. How pleased are you to be back at the Aramco Saudi Ladies International?
As always, I'm really happy to be here. I was here for the inaugural of the course 4 years ago, and to see the shape it is in today, it's something really amazing, the work they've done, and even the tournament, the way it's evolved every year. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm sure I can speak on behalf of all the players. It's a great tournament, and we're all really excited to play it.
Excellent. And Ines, you are here for your second Aramco Saudi Ladies International, but this will be your first as an LET professional and what will be your first event as an LET professional. How excited are you for this week?
I'm obviously very excited to play this week. Like you said, it was my first LET event here in 2020. An amazing experience to be able to play this course as a first experience is just, it was great. I'm very happy to be here, especially in an Arab country like Saudi Arabia. And yeah, looking forward to this week. The course is in a great shape. And very excited to start the week.
Awesome. And Lina, we'll come to you for the same thing. This is also your first event as an LET professional. How excited are you for this week?
I'll say the same thing. I'm really excited. I would like to thank the Aramco for giving me this opportunity to start my career in here. It's a really nice course, a really nice event, and I'm really, really happy to be here.
And you've been out in the course today. Mm-hmm. How do you feel you'll cope with the wind? Because it does get quite windy here.
I was going to say there's a lot of wind, but I mean, it's for everyone the same, so I'm make my best and I'll do my best and try to make a great event.
Brilliant. So Maha, when you were first here at the 2020 event, which was a couple of years ago, the debut Aramco Saudi Ladies International, you spoke so eloquently about how you hoped the event would inspire more women, more Arabic women especially. Now we're here, you've got your fellow countrywomen here. This is a field with 3 Arabic players, which I think is the most of any LET field in history. How does that make you feel?
Well, as a professional golfer, I mean, we travel the world, and the LET is also there to, to inspire the people of the countries we go to take up the game and to look at golf as something, they could take on, or a sport they could play. And for me, 3 years ago, I didn't think I would be sitting here with the 2 Moroccan other professionals and playing this event. And I think it's a great thing, and it's really small steps that make things like this happen. I mean, having tournaments, having opportunities to play in tournaments like these, and also, having tournaments also in the tournaments we had in Morocco. I mean, it's inspired me, and I know today having fields like this and looking at the field and seeing that there's 3 Moroccan girls playing in it, I'm sure that will inspire some Tunisian girls or from other places in the Arab world to actually say, well, 3 of them made it, so I'm sure I can make it.
Superb. And Ines, I remember when I'd spoken to Maha before, and she'd mentioned you and Lina as young women that were coming through in the game. I'm sure Maha's been around for a while, playing at the top level of golf. I'm sure she's a player that's really inspired you.
Definitely, yeah. She's the first to ever make it in Morocco, both men and women. And I mean, she showed us the way. She clearly showed us that it was possible to make it. And when you have someone from your country that is on a major tour such as the LET, it just you relate more when it's someone from your country that has the same resources than where you're trained. So what she did is big, and hopefully a lot more of us will follow on this path.
And we could massage her ego a little bit more. Lina, would you say the same about Maha? Has she inspired you?
Yeah, I would say the same. I think everyone in Morocco knows Maha, and she made it possible. She showed us that it was possible, and we followed her footsteps, and we're really glad to be here next to her.
Right, enough, or I'm going to cry.
Maha, this is the second event of what's going to be a record-breaking year in the LET. I think there's nearly $30 million in prize money available across the season. I think that's more than double what it was in 2019. From a player's perspective, how does that feel?
To be fair, it's a big relief. I've been on the LET, this is my 10th year now, and we've seen it evolve. We've seen a lot of work being done by the LET staff. We're really grateful to have such good staff, and they're really doing the best for the players, but also having partners like Aramco that are holding so many events, and they're putting women's golf at the top level and at the front of the scene, and this is what we need. We need to believe in ourselves as a tour, which we do, but we also need partners that believe in women, and this is what's happening today. And the more people believe in women, the bigger it is, and the bigger it will get. And I believe that there's everything to be done in women's golf. Men's golf has gone so far, and it can only get to a certain extent. But women's golf, there's a lot more that can be done. There's a lot more that can be, made bigger. The prize funds have gone up. The number of tournaments have gone up, and it can only go towards getting more towards equality with the men, and this is the way we want it to go. And having Saudi putting up a prize fund as big as this week is a big statement.
Yeah, and just that leads into my last question as well, just before we open it to the floor. So last season there was the 4 new ATS events. I think there's going to be 6 total Aramco and Golf Saudi-backed events on the calendar this year. How much do you look forward to these events? I've heard a lot of the players say that they really do. The events are put on spectacularly. They really do add an extra element. Is that how you feel coming to play these events?
I've played 2 team series last year, and it's something very different. To be fair, I'll be honest, I was quite skeptical about it at the start, and I've played in 2, and then I was like, okay, well, I used to think I'm in golf because it's an individual sport, and I like to play for myself and on my own kind of thing. And then 2 years ago, I actually played with Ines, and I had a lot of fun, and I was like, okay, well, I can play for myself, but also as part of a team. And I think it's something new. It's something that definitely excites the players, and I know I had a blast playing them last year. So yeah, I'm really excited about those, and I think they add a good touch to the tour and a good, difference.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you all so much. We can now open the floor for questions. Yasin's here with a microphone, so if anyone in the room's got a question, I think just down here first.
It's really important to have a field that strong, and the field this year is also really strong, and it's great for the whole field because it puts the world ranking points of the tournament up as well. I think this year is going to be quite different. It's more windy. The course is in different conditions, so anything can happen, but there's obviously a lot of strong players, and it's going to be a good test of golf.
بس I'd like to ask Maha also. هل ممكن إنه يكون في مشاركة لمها لتدريب الفتيات السعوديات، وإيش الشروط اللي ممكن من خلالها توصل البنت لأنها تنافس على بطولات عالمية زي كذا، خصوصا إنه في مشاركة عربية مميزة في هذه البطولة؟
It is possible, but golf takes time. The same way it took time in Morocco. We've had a tournament in Morocco for a long time before there was actually, someone on tour, like full-time player on tour. And I don't think it's impossible. There's a great initiative. I was lucky actually the first year I came here to give a clinic to a few girls. I think it was in 2019 during the opening of Royal Greens, and I gave the clinic, and 2 years later, some of the girls I gave the first club to actually played in the Pro-Am with me. And this is how it starts. So obviously they're not going to be able to play on tour in 1 year. Probably not in 2 or 3 years, but in less than a decade, it's definitely something that's possible. You've got great facilities, great courses, good coaches. I mean, anything is possible. I mean, we've done it in Morocco, so there's no reason why it wouldn't be a Saudi girl next. So for me, there's no age to start. There's no age to get interested in golf. And when it comes to growing the game, from a promoter's perspective, it doesn't matter what age the people come. Because if it's a 40-year-old who starts golf, well, maybe if she likes it in 3 years, she's going to bring her kids. So it doesn't matter. Like, you can get interested in the game when you're young, when you're older, and it's a game you can play until, well, unless you can't walk, you can play golf. But so yeah, it's really important to get everybody to try and come and watch, and it's really a sport that, like, you maybe won't be interested in if you don't try it. As a personal joke, I tried curling like 2 weeks ago, and it's a sport I had no interest in, and now I really like it. And it could be the same for golf. Like, who would think I would get into curling? But it's the exact same for anything. You've got to try it. You've got to give it a chance to maybe try and enjoy it. And if we get people that are really young into the game, well, maybe that's future champions. If we get older people, well, maybe it's the parents of future champions. So, I mean, there's no age, there's no best audience for golf.
I just want to ask you to explain some of the obstacles that you find being Arab women going into golf. What are the major ones for future girls who want to go into that? And what are the major obstacles?
I'll be very honest and say no. Honestly, no. I signed up to the golf course where I played. And it was quite nice hearing Ines say, her goal was to beat the boys, because that was exactly it when I started. I was like, oh, I've got to beat them. But yeah, I felt no difference when it comes to getting into golf and, having a career in golf. Maybe sometimes I had to explain it a bit more to people who thought, that's not a job, that's not a proper job. When are you going to get a real job? And then when you explain it to people and you're like, well, football players, like, would you tell a football player the same thing? When is he going to get a job? And then when you say that, people are like, oh, okay, makes sense. But I never felt like, because I was a woman, that I wasn't given a chance back home to pursue a career in golf or anything. The only problem I had at the time was that I was really the only one. So it was, I couldn't go and play the World Championships as an amateur because I wouldn't go on my own. Or any team events. I never got that proper amateur career that most of the LET or LPGA players have, because I was on my own. But other than that, I was given the same chance as the men. So that's probably not the answer like people would think, because they're like, oh, she's from an Arab country, maybe she wasn't given a chance. But yes, I was given the same chance, and I'm pretty sure Ines and Lina felt the same.
Yeah, I think, Ines, we'd spoken before, we'd done a little preview piece for the tournament. I think you'd said that you went in one summer, your goal was to beat all the boys, and you did?
Exactly, yeah, that's what I explained. That was my motivation. And really never felt the difference of being a girl and, having obstacles about playing the game. Yes, it's true, I was one of the only girl in my golf club, and most of the time I played with the boys, with the guys. There was no category, like a women or girl category, because there were not enough girls. And I think it's a good thing. It opened my mind, and because we're playing the same sport. It's the only difference is maybe the distance, and girls and boys have their own tee box. So for me, it's the only difference, and we have this. This is adjusted. So yeah, just same.